My name is Gretchen, and I'm from Texas, and my highest weight was somewhere probably in the 280s, but I tried to not get on the scale very much, so I didn't really know exactly how high I ever got. But at the point when I decided that I wanted to look into weight loss surgery, my weight was 276. And as of today, I am 176.4, so just shy of 100 pounds. I was sleeved by Dr. Alvarez in June of 2014, so I am at 7 months since surgery. As a child, a young child, I was not considerably overweight. But I think I remember once I hit puberty that I, kind of started to be a little bigger than the other girls. A lot of them were wearing, their little size 5'6" in middle school, and I was more like a 12 or 14. Once I reached high school, I was 16s and 18s and, would, get teased by kids about, being bigger. And that's probably when I had my first diet. And I think I managed to lose about 25 pounds at that point, and that was around my graduation time, and I think I weighed about 175 when I graduated high school. And when I went on to college, I gained the typical freshman 15, and as, the years continued through college, I continued to gain. By the time I got married, which was 2 years after college, I think I weighed around 225 pounds. And I actually kind of maintained around 225 to 240 for a number of years. I mean, that's a little bit of fluctuation, but it didn't balloon up or anything until I got pregnant. And when I was pregnant with my first child, I think I gained around 50 pounds and then struggled to lose that weight for years after he was born. I'd lost some, but, still wanted to lose more, and ended up going to Weight Watchers for a period of time and was actually pretty successful, and I think I lost about 50 pounds that time and was below 200, and I hadn't seen that in years, so I was excited. And shortly after, I had kind of hit a plateau there, and I ended up getting pregnant with my second child. So I had to, quit doing Weight Watchers and, of course, gained weight again with my second child. And after her birth, I thought, I'm going to get on top of this, go back, and went back to Weight Watchers and didn't really have a whole lot of success the second time around. So over the years, I would try to cut back and cut out sweets or cut out this and tried to lose weight, and I never really had a whole lot of luck again losing weight until probably 2010. I was diagnosed with something called intracranial hypertension. And the doctors told me that losing weight could help reverse the intracranial hypertension. So this time I was serious. I had to do something. I had to lose weight. I had to make this better because intracranial hypertension can cause blindness if you leave it untreated. So I managed to somehow take off 30 pounds between walking and kind of watching what I ate. And they were seeing improvement in my intracranial hypertension. And so I felt good, but somewhere I fell off the wagon again and gained all of that back. And so, there I was again having issues with my intracranial hypertension and being miserable. Really the only health challenge that I had associated with being overweight was that, and my blood pressure was kind of borderline, but I'd never been on any medication for blood pressure or diabetes or anything. The only thing I really had was this head problem. So I decided at the beginning of 2013 that I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something and just didn't kind of know which way to go. I had thought kind of in the back of my mind a few times over the years about weight loss surgery, but I think I was too scared to maybe even pursue it. And in January of 2013, a friend of mine, I hadn't seen her for a while, and I'd run into her, and I think it was at my daughter's birthday party, actually. Her daughter came, and we were having pizza, and I said, go have some pizza, and she was like, no, and I gave her an odd look like, why not? And she said, well, I had weight loss surgery. And I said, oh, really? I said, what'd you have? Lap band? What'd you have? Because, of course, that was what I was thinking I wanted. And she said, no, I had the gastric sleeve. And I had never heard of it. And so she told me a little bit about it. And I thought, maybe I ought to look into that. So that evening I went home and turned on the computer, and there I was digging through the internet trying to find out what is this gastric sleeve and what's involved and, what are the risks, what are the benefits. And the more I read, the more I was interested in it. What I had read about the band kind of had me a little concerned. I didn't want some foreign body in me forever. The results that I had read and had seen from people and who had the band didn't seem as successful as what I was reading about the sleeve. So I just really liked what I was reading. I liked that, you don't have the issues of, malabsorption or, some of the issues that you find with some of the other kinds of weight loss surgeries. So I just kept reading and was just more excited and more determined that this is what I wanted to do. So at that point, then I checked into my insurance to find out, hey, is there any chance insurance will pay for this? And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, because that's what brought me to Dr. Alvarez, insurance would not pay, not even with any sort of comorbidities, because I was hoping maybe my inter-cranial hypertension would be considered a comorbidity and I would qualify, but no, of course not. So I talked with my husband, and I told him that I was interested in doing weight loss surgery, and he said, if that's what you'd like to do, then, I'll support it. He said, find out, where, how much it's going to cost, find out, So I actually just asked my friend here locally, I said, just out of curiosity, how much did your surgery cost? Because she ended up having to pay out of pocket herself. And she said, with everything included, hospital, doctor, everything, it was over $20,000. And I was, there's no way. So I went back to the drawing board and thought, I got to find a way that I can afford this. And, with looking on some of the weight loss forums, seeing what people were saying, and started looking into going to Mexico. And I found, I think, some ad for Dr. Alvarez, Endobariatric, and thought, well, I'll look at that. And went to his site, checked it out, liked what I saw, liked what I read. And then I started researching, complications or complaints, or I didn't find one anywhere, nowhere. I would try looking on those forums, see if there was something there. I would just do a general Google search. I couldn't find anything. And I liked that I couldn't find anything bad. I liked that it would be a hospital setting, not some, strip mall clinic. We'd be in the hospital for a couple days. It just really clicked. So once I was kind of determined that that was the route I wanted to go, I actually, on those weight loss forums, found 2 or 3 or 4 people, I don't remember how many, at random, who had posted that they had been to Dr. Alvarez, and contacted them privately and, said, I'm thinking about using him. What is your opinion? Would you recommend him? What's the goods? What's the bad? And not a one of them had anything bad to say. And that really made me feel good about my decision, because I could have contacted the doctor or, Susan and said, hey, can you let me talk to some people? But how am I supposed to know that they're not being paid under the table to say something, which now that I know Dr. Alvarez, I know that would never happen. So I was excited what I was hearing. Nobody had anything bad to say. It was great. So another reason people say, there's other places that are less expensive. Why didn't you go there? And, I feel you get what you pay for. And I know there's other doctors that would have done it less expensive in Mexico, but I just felt like I was going to get a good quality care with Dr. Alvarez for the price and not, something less expensive and not as good. So I made my decision and decided that I wasn't going to be really public about what I was doing, because I didn't want to have people judge me and say, you took the easy way out. So the only people I really told about my surgery were very close friends who I knew would be supportive, or that I knew would need to help me along the way, either helping me with my kids while I was gone or help keep me, motivated. And then obviously my direct family knew. But since then, I have kind of told a few more people, people I feel who could benefit, or people I know that are going to be supportive of my journey. And I think that's just a decision that everybody has to make on their own. Traveling to Mexico was very easy. I have been to Mexico previously for personal vacations, and this trip to Mexico for my surgery with Dr. Alvarez was the easiest and fastest trip across the border I think I have ever had. When Rosie, the driver, picks us up, it was just a quick, easy cross of the border and was very uneventful. And I was expecting kind of my previous experience where you sit and you wait and you have to go, fill all these it was very quick, very easy, a very quiet border town, nothing like where I've crossed in the past. Loved it. Basically thinking next time I go for a personal vacation, I may go that route just because it was so quiet. Upon arriving there, I was kind of nervous, kind of to be expected before you have any surgery. But once I met the doctor, my nerves were calmed. He just was very approachable. So we had a quick meeting with Dr. Alvarez. He weighed us, took some pictures for his file, and then I did blood work, x-rays, and getting ready for surgery. I mean, it just kind of moved right along. Once we got there, you didn't have time to really think, what am I doing? And, I've always, in the U.S., I've always had trouble when they take blood. They always, struggle to find a good vein. I had no issues whatsoever. Probably the best experience I've ever had with getting IVs or blood work done was at Dr. Alvarez. But once I was ready for surgery, they came in, gave me a little something to relax, and then that was the last I remember until I was awake after surgery, and they said it was over. And I didn't really have any pain after surgery, just discomfort, something to be expected after any surgery. And, the nurses keep a good eye on you, make sure you're not in any pain, and, it was just amazing. I have not a single complaint about the stay there. It was quick. I mean, not quick. It was easy. They took care of you. It was wonderful. And then I was up walking the halls later that same day, and, it was great. There was no complications. Like I said, no pain really. I mean, just a little discomfort. And, I even felt better after this surgery than any outpatient surgeries I've had in the U.S. and, where you spend a couple days kind of feeling miserable. And I didn't feel that at all. Since surgery, my life is pretty different. I mean, I go to the gym regularly. I enjoy it. If I miss more than a day or two because of things I've got going on in my life, I don't feel good. I got to get to the gym. I got to get my exercise on. I have a lot more energy. My self-esteem has gone from basically nothing to great self-esteem. I'm just generally happier, more outgoing. I feel like I have a new lease on life, and I think my kids are enjoying their new mom who will go do just about anything with them and not sit on the sidelines and say, nah, you guys have fun. So it's been great. And since surgery, my blood pressure has been in the normal range. It's not been borderline anymore. My vision issues from my intracranial hypertension are improving greatly. And, I'm just really happy. And like I said before, I've shared the details of my weight loss surgery that I had with Dr. Alvarez with a few people since surgery, hoping that maybe, it might help them get on the weight loss journey themselves. It's people that have asked me, and that are kind of investigating for themselves. And hopefully they'll choose Dr. Alvarez and improve their lives the way I have. I would recommend him to anybody and would go with someone as their support network if they needed it, because he's just an amazing doctor, and I would hope that they can find the same success that I have.